Let's jump right into today's explainer. We are diving into a 2,000-year-old, game-changing mindset from the Roman philosopher Seneca. We're going to explore how the exact things you probably consider your biggest weaknesses can actually become your absolute sharpest strategic advantages. Take a look at this quote. "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Let that sink in for a second. Seneca wasn't just saying, hey, difficulties happen, grit your teeth and deal with it. No, it's way deeper than that. He's saying the struggle, the limitation, the stuff you lack, that is the exact training mechanism required for success. It's literally like hitting the gym. Lifting heavy weights tears your muscles down just to build them back stronger, right? Well, the barriers in your life are actively doing the same thing. They are sharpening your mind. But here's where so many of us get it completely wrong. Look at this flawed approach. We burn so much of our precious energy fighting what we don't have. You know the feeling, panicking over a lack of money, a lack of speed, or some physical disadvantage. Now look at the winning approach. It's a total paradigm shift. The ultimate winners don't agonize over their deficits. They ruthlessly capitalize on what they actually possess. Think about it. The strongest person in the room doesn't always win. The richest person doesn't always come out on top. The true victor is the one who keeps a cool head when everyone else is freaking out, spotting open doors when the rest of the world is just staring blankly at a brick wall.
So let's see what this actually looks like in practice with Case Study 1, Strategic Resourcefulness.
Picture a harsh, lush forest. Out here, speed and strength are pretty much everything. And looking at our main character's profile, well, his limitations are glaringly obvious. He's slow, he's physically weak, and he's incredibly short. Naturally, the other animals kind of looked down on him. Not because they were cruel, but just, food chain reality. But check out those last two bullet points. He was exceptionally calm, super patient, and he had a remarkably strong, steady jaw. And the absolute best part? He never complained about his hand in life. He just accepted his reality and kept right on walking.
Okay, so here's the setup. One morning, our tortoise is out foraging, and he spots a crow. This crow is losing its mind, wildly flapping around, trying to smash these hard walnut shells against the rocks and completely failing. Now, the tortoise knows he could crack those shells in a heartbeat with his jaw, but he stays quiet and just keeps moving. Fast forward to midday, and the tortoise stumbles onto an absolute gold mine, a tree loaded with perfectly ripe golden bananas hanging just out of reach. He tries pushing the trunk. Nothing. Tries biting it. Total fail. His short little legs and lack of strength mean he is completely walled off from getting this food. But he doesn't just give up. He stops, he thinks, and by the afternoon, he's slowly making his way right back to that still frustrated crow. Both of them are totally blocked by their physical limits.
And this brilliantly illustrates our point. Look at the strategic deal they strike. The tortoise rolls up to the exhausted crow and just makes an offer. He trades his unique asset, that crazy jaw strength to crack the walnuts, for the crow's unique asset, the ability to fly up and grab those hanging bananas. It's this quiet, totally mutually beneficial barter. The tortoise cracks the shells one by one, unhurried and steady. The crow flies back and forth, bringing down the bananas. Nobody felt cheated, they just used exactly what they had. Which brings us to this incredibly powerful realization. Having limitations does not mean you cannot get what you want. No grand speeches, no big fuss, no small talk. The tortoise just ended up with a full stomach. He proved that you literally do not need to fight your lack of physical capital. If you use your brain, your physical limitations become completely irrelevant to the final outcome. But hey, what happens when the stakes are literally life and death? Let's move into Case Study 2, Crisis Management Under Pressure. Our tortoise is full, content, and just continuing his slow little walk when he wanders into some dense brush. And boom, a massive bear bursts out of nowhere. So I want to ask you this directly. What happens when a slow body meets a blazing fast threat? There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. In a fraction of a second, the tortoise is facing certain doom. If he wastes a single moment focusing on his lack of speed or strength right now, it's game over. But he doesn't panic. Instead, he executes this survival framework. Step 1. Without even a flinch, he retracts everything. Head, legs, straight into his shell. Step 2. He just withstands the physical assault. The bear is confused at first, then gets absolutely furious. He's clawing at the shell, biting it. He even picks the tortoise up and slams him against a rock. But the shell holds firm. And inside, the tortoise isn't freaking out. He is calmly working on step 3. He knows he can't outmuscle a bear,
and he knows the bear won't just give up. He has to analyze his enemy and use his mind to orchestrate an escape. So he uses what we can call applied deception. From deep inside the shell, in this super soft, calm voice, he casually mentions to the raging bear that, if you really want to get inside, you need to soften the shell by soaking it in water. I mean, what an absolute masterstroke. He uses the bear's own primitive logic against him. The bear's thinking, well, wood rots in water, dirt turns to soft mud, so yeah, why not this shell? 0. That is the exact number of natural physical advantages the tortoise brought to this fight. 0 strength to fight back, 0 speed to run away. But because he planted that deceptive idea, the bear actually carried him over to the river and dropped him in. And the second he hit the water, the tortoise popped his legs out and swam away into the deep current, way faster than he could ever move on land. He survived entirely because he outthought the threat. Which brings us perfectly to the ultimate takeaway, your greatest weapon. When it comes to compensating for what we lack, this is just so empowering. Look at this list. You do not need great physical strength to succeed. You really don't need overwhelming speed. And honestly, in the modern world, you often don't even need massive amounts of starting capital. But what you do need, absolutely and without question, is to sharpen your capacity to think. Intelligence and resourcefulness make up for almost every single shortcoming, but only if you stop obsessing over what you don't have and start actively deploying what you do.
So the crucial point is right here on this chart. We've got this bad habit of assuming raw strength and starting capital dictate who wins and who loses. But more often than not, the vast majority of your success, about 85% of it, comes down to just cleverly finding a way forward. Victory rarely goes to the strongest or the fastest. It almost always goes to the one who leverages their mind, stays incredibly calm inside their own shell when a crisis hits, and spots the hidden path that raw force just blunders right past.
So, I want to leave you with this question to chew on today. What is the hard walnuts or the sudden bear attack in your life right now? What is that massive limitation you've been complaining about? And more importantly, starting today, how are you going to use your mind to defeat it? Stop fighting your lack of capital or strength. Use that brilliant mind of yours, find your strategic advantage, and forge your own path forward. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I absolutely cannot wait to see how you turn your perceived weaknesses into your greatest weapons. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.